Welcome to FinTech Matrix, where tech meets money and trends become power. You heard it here first. Today, July 21st, 2025, we're examining what's driving your financial world and reshaping technology across the globe. First, we break down US and UK inflation shifts, central bank signals, crypto market pressure, and banking stock moves. Next, major tech headlines, including Neuralink's first human trials, Microsoft's AI super app Play, and Apple's new payment expansions. Finally, actionable insights for what you should do now. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's unpack what matters to your wallet and your world over the last 48 hours here on FinTech Matrix. Let's start with what's moving the markets today. Here's your finance update. Federal Reserve signals policy patience, markets stabilize. The U.S. Federal Reserve has signaled it will remain patient on interest rate cuts, despite ongoing market anticipation. Chair Jerome Powell emphasized that recent inflation readings, though improved, are not yet sufficient to trigger a policy pivot. Markets responded with cautious optimism, with the S&P 500 and Dow stabilizing after weeks of volatility. Analysts interpret this as a continuation of the higher-for-longer stance, especially with core inflation sticking near 2.8%. UK inflation falls to 2.5%. Bank of England urged to cut rates. In the UK, the latest CPI data showed inflation dropping to 2.5%, its lowest level in nearly 3 years. This has increased pressure on the Bank of England to begin easing monetary policy. British business groups and mortgage lenders are calling for a rate cut by September. However, Governor Andrew Bailey struck a cautious tone, citing persistent wage inflation and global risks. Global bond market sees flight to safety. U.S. Treasuries rally. Global investors poured into U.S. Treasuries over the weekend, pushing yields lower and signaling risk aversion amid geopolitical tensions in Asia. The 10-year yield fell to 3.92%, while the UK gilt market also saw inflows. With equity markets stretched and central banks in a holding pattern, fixed income assets are regaining appeal. IMF raises U.S. growth outlook, warns on fiscal deficit. The IMF has upgraded the U.S. economic growth forecast for 2025 to 2.4%, citing strong consumer spending and tech-led capital investment. However, it also warned that Washington's growing fiscal deficit remains a risk to long-term economic stability, calling for bipartisan tax and spending reforms. PayPal launches crypto-to-cash feature in US and UK. PayPal has rolled out a new crypto-to-cash conversion feature for users in the US and UK, allowing real-time liquidation of supported digital assets into fiat currency at checkout. This move, seen as a bid to drive adoption, puts PayPal ahead of traditional banks lagging in digital asset integration. FCA investigates UK banks over AI usage in credit scoring. The UK's Financial Conduct Authority has launched a probe into several high street banks over their use of AI algorithms in credit scoring. Regulators are concerned that opaque models could reinforce bias and discrimination, especially among underserved borrowers. The FCA is calling for transparency, model audits, and consumer protection guarantees. BlackRock doubles down on AI ETFs, sees institutional surge. BlackRock has expanded its AI-focused ETF lineup, citing record institutional inflows. The asset manager is betting that AI and quantum computing exposure will become core allocation themes in multi-asset portfolios over the next decade. Analysts say this reflects growing institutional confidence in AI's long-term impact on productivity and market dynamics. Revolut launches U.S. credit product, targets Gen Z borrowers. UK-based Revolut has launched its first credit product in the U.S., targeting Gen Z borrowers with flexible repayment models and AI-driven financial planning. The product enters a crowded market, but aims to differentiate through ultra-low fees, instant approval, and built-in crypto cashback rewards. SEC delays Ethereum ETF approval again, legal tensions mount. The US SEC has once again postponed decisions on Ethereum ETF applications from BlackRock and Fidelity. The move, while expected, frustrates crypto industry leaders who accuse the agency of regulatory ambiguity. Legal pressure is mounting as lawmakers push for clarity on whether Ethereum is a commodity or a security. UK regulator issues final rules on stablecoin reserves. The Bank of England and FCA have jointly released final regulations for stablecoin issuers, mandating full GBP reserves for tokens used in domestic payments. UK regulators are attempting to strike a balance between innovation and systemic risk, with Circle and PayPal already adjusting their models. Goldman Sachs says dollar strength may peak. Yen-pound in focus. Goldman Sachs analysts believe the dollar's recent strength is nearing exhaustion, especially with global growth catching up. The pound and yen are seen as undervalued, prompting expectations for Forex portfolio rebalancing in Q3. This could impact export-heavy sectors in both the UK and Japan. Finance segment wrap-up. The financial landscape across the US and UK is defined by caution. Central banks are holding steady, inflation is easing, and crypto continues to push toward mainstream legitimacy. Regulatory scrutiny remains intense, and market players are hedging ahead of September policy meetings. Keep your strategy agile. Now shifting to the world of innovation, disruption, and digital infrastructure, here's your tech update. OpenAI unveils Enterprise Voice Agents API. OpenAI has launched a new API tailored for enterprises to build custom voice-based AI agents. Companies in finance, healthcare, and customer service are testing integration. The API supports human-like responsiveness and can be embedded in apps, call centers, or IoT devices. Apple Wallet expands digital ID support in US and Europe. Apple has announced broader integration of government-issued IDs within Apple Wallet across 5 US states and 3 European countries. The update includes stablecoin verification and Visa-backed tap-to-pay improvements, enabling ID plus payment in a single tap for travel and retail. Tesla and Samsung sign US semiconductor deal. Tesla has entered into a strategic partnership with Samsung to co-develop advanced AI chips at a new facility in Texas. The move aims to secure domestic chip supply for Tesla's next-gen autopilot and robotics programs. The U.S. government is reportedly supporting the deal under CHIPS Act incentives. Microsoft's Loop app gets major AI upgrade. Microsoft has revamped its Loop collaboration platform with deeper Copilot integration, real-time knowledge sync, and intelligent task generation. Analysts suggest Microsoft is positioning Loop as the super app for enterprises, combining Slack, Notion, and AI planning into one streamlined experience. South Korea introduces new cloud regulation, global firms affected. South Korea has unveiled new rules requiring foreign cloud providers to store sensitive data locally and submit to periodic audits. The regulation directly impacts Amazon AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure, all of which serve Korea's banking and public sectors. UK telecom watchdog probes big tech over data throttling. Ofcom has opened a review into whether big tech apps are degrading user experience during peak hours on mobile networks. Apple, Google, and Meta are under scrutiny for data prioritization techniques that may harm fair access and net neutrality. US and UK launched joint AI cybersecurity initiative. The US Department of Homeland Security and the UK Home Office have launched a joint task force to protect critical infrastructure using AI-powered threat detection. The framework will prioritize power grids, financial exchanges, and healthcare networks. Meta opens Horizon OS to third-party VR hardware. Meta has announced it will open its Horizon OS to third-party headset makers, including Lenovo and Asus. This mirrors Google's Android strategy and aims to accelerate adoption of its VR ecosystem amid pressure from Apple's Vision Pro. Amazon tests AI retail kiosks in U.S. airports. Amazon is piloting AI-powered checkout-free kiosks at 3 major U.S. airports. The system uses real-time facial ID and digital wallets, allowing travelers to grab and go with receipts sent instantly via email or app. NVIDIA surpasses $3.5 valuation, world's second most valuable company. NVIDIA has officially overtaken Apple in market cap, reaching $3.5 trillion. Driven by unprecedented demand for AI chips, the company is now the second most valuable firm globally, behind only Microsoft. Segment wrap-up. From Apple's wallet evolution to NVIDIA's rise and OpenAI's push into voice automation, tech leaders are racing to redefine how we interact with money, identity, and information. With new cross-border regulations and AI infrastructure shaping the future, staying updated is essential. This is where the future of tech is being written. One policy, one platform, and one partnership at a time. And that wraps up today's breakdown. From Fed caution and falling UK inflation, to Apple's tap-to-pay push and OpenAI's latest leap, one thing's clear: the future of finance and technology isn't just arriving. It's evolving right under our feet. Whether you're positioning your portfolio or building your next product, staying informed is your edge. If today's deep dive helped you see the market a little clearer, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And tap the bell so you never miss a beat. Drop a comment below. Which story will impact your strategy the most this week? And remember, this is FinTech Matrix, delivering money, tech, and trends to your doorstep. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.